third. So the quiz here, let's look at the first one. When we say we are going to write an essay, and the essay, of course, normally a good essay follows a certain order. And which one is the correct order of an essay? Well, basically, it is very straightforward. We have an introduction, we have body, and by the end of the essay, we have a conclusion. Okay, so basically, we start to introduce and try to figure out what kind of thesis statement we have, and use the body section. We use the body to support, to argue, to illustrate the various issues of the thesis statement. And at the conclusion part, we reflect what we have discussed and try to determine whether we have answered the thesis statement or not. Okay, so introduction, body, and the conclusion is the normal order we have for our term paper. Okay, so which statement about the body of an essay is false? Let's look at, since we are trying to identify which one is wrong, so let's see which one is correct. Basically, it is normally the largest section of an essay. We have an introduction, we have a body, and we have a conclusion. So you can see the visual illustration of this is very clear. And the first one, the body of an essay is to support the thesis. The thesis we talk about here is about thesis statement. So this is something you want to talk about. Okay, and this one is also correct. It may include arguments, details, example, description, narrations, etc. So basically, this part is used to support your thesis statement. And because you need to illustrate a lot of these evidences and arguments and details and examples to support thesis. So of course, it would be the largest part of your essay. And this one is not necessary. Expert opinions, quotation, and secondaries are required for all kinds of essays. The key is here is all kinds of essay, not really. If you are writing for your own diary, if you are writing for a novel, a fiction, if you are writing something based on your own rationale, basically you do not need experts' opinions, quotation, or secondary sources. They are not definitely required for this purpose. Okay, so let's continue to the next one. So which statement is wrong? Well, let's look at this one. The wrong one, of course, let's see the one that is correct. The first one, thesis statement. Thesis statement, the most important sentence in our essay, should be in the last sentence or two of the introductory paragraph. This is definitely true. So after we have the introductory paragraph here, and the thesis statement should be the last part of your introductory paragraph. Okay, so this is what we are expecting you to have to provide your thesis statement at the end of the introductory paragraph. Okay, and number two, each body paragraph should link back to each individual point in the thesis statement. That is also true. We have a thesis statement, and inside the thesis statement, of course, we have several points, several major points we want to argue. So basically, each body paragraph must be logically correct to either of these three or four or five points you made in your thesis statement. And this one is also correct. you tell readers what you want to do in the introduction. So look here. This is the introduction, right? And here is your hook. So you provide a hook here, and then followed with introduction, and end it with your thesis statement. Okay, so basically, your hook, your background information, and your thesis is for the readers to understand what you want to do for your term paper, for your essay. So basically, you tell your readers what you want to do in the introduction. This statement is also true, but this one is not. To make the argument more appealing, it is good to provide new information in the conclusion? No, definitely not. So when we say in a body paragraph, look here. In a body paragraph, normally the last part, the last few sentences is the conclusion sentence. So the conclusion sentence is used to reflect the topic sentence. And how about the conclusion in your essay? The conclusion in your essay is to summarize what you have discussed. So theoretically, you should not put new information in your conclusion. Be careful for this one. So in conclusion, it only reflects your discussion in your body paragraph and try to answer your thesis statement. And no new information. So this is wrong. It's bad. Very bad. Don't do this. Okay? And let's move to the last part. So which one, we say we have a rule of three. Which one is not one of the rule of threes? Okay, let's see this one. Basically, these three are correct, but this one is not. This one is not. So let's see. The first rule of three, basically when we have an introduction, we use a hook to grab the attention from the readers and give them some background illustration. And eventually we point out the thesis statement. So this is rule of three for introductory paragraph. And what about body paragraph? Body paragraph, normally we would provide at least 3 points to support the thesis. So this one is the thesis, right? We have a thesis statement, which we have a thesis statement here. And so basically we would provide at least 3 points to support the thesis statement. And the conclusion, basically we have a conclusion, then what will be the 3 major concerns we need to put into our conclusion paragraph? We need to review the major points, of course, and restate the thesis. The thesis again refers to thesis statement. What do we try to do? And then, so what? End with something memorable. What is the contribution, or what is the significance, or what is the impact of your writing here? So basically, you need to tell your readers, try to give them a highlight about what you have discussed so far, and what is the contribution that your essay may be making to a certain group of people. Okay, so but this one is not correct. That is, when we say three, we do not refer to say that each of the introduction, body, and includes at least 3 paragraphs. Well, this is not correct. So when we say rules of 3, it's about logic. So what are the necessary components we need to put into the introduction? We need to have a hook. We have some background, and we have to provide a thesis statement. And in your body paragraph, why do you want to use your body paragraph? Because you use your body paragraph to support your thesis statement. So normally, if you want to avoid that your term paper to become very dry, normally you will provide at least 3 paragraphs to discuss, 3 points to support the thesis statement. And how about the conclusion part? Conclusion is it is used to conclude, to summarize, to provide some contribution for the essay. So basically, you need to review the major points that you have highlighted through your body language, your body paragraph, and also you restate your thesis, and by the end to provide some kind of significance of your essay. So what? End with something memorable. Okay, but this is not right. So remember this. When we say rules of three does not refer to the number actually. It refers to the logical flow, the structure of your essay. Okay, so far, do you have any question? Well, just plagiarism, I did not record it, but let me put up to something. You can see from here. See, the main text all consist of the passage from other people. Word of mouth marketing is a particularly. I know the student because you have contact with me several times. But you look at this one, it's not right. It's not right. You copy from someone else and try to say, hey, this is mine. No, this is not yours. This is the stolen property from other people. Okay, so basically, I will gauge the integrity of your paper very carefully. If you steal, if you plagiarize for any of your papers submitted to me, you will definitely get 0, and I will give that to you. And remember, you are going to have your term paper very soon, in 4 weeks of the time, and you have to be very, very careful about your own writing. Try to train yourself. Academic integrity is very important. If you steal, then it will backfire to you eventually. Really, I guarantee you. It will backfire to you sometime, someday. Even you graduate from the school, if you got caught, and then your diploma will be revoked. So don't do this. Really, don't do this. How can we catch you? How can the system run after you? Because the system has this. Not only Wenzhou has authenticate. Almost all universities, all professional institutions use authenticate to catch plagiarism. Okay, so please don't do this and be a good student. You have to present yourself in a very good way. You have to say, hey, this piece of paper is written by me. Yes, indeed, I refer to some other people's idea, but I have properly cited and give the references and I know it's theirs, so I respect. So I just borrow and I say, hey, this is from something else. So please refer to that source. And once you put a proper citation and the references, it says that I know it's their idea, but it is very good for I use it to support my argument. Okay, and I give the references information to give the credit to the proper authors. Okay, so this is the proper way to do. So remember, don't just copy and paste. Don't just cut a lot of different pieces of passage and post and paste on your own paper. It's a form of plagiarism. Okay, don't do this. Okay, so I hope that your next performance can become better. Okay, can you do that, folks? Okay, this is our first paragraph. We call introductory paragraph. And remember, the hook, the background, and also the thesis should be followed with this order. Okay, so any questions so far? Anyone? So if not, let's take a break and please come back at 10:15 and we will resume our class at that time. And I will keep the meeting open. If you have any question, you can type on our chat so I can know what you want to ask. Okay, let's take a break and please come back at 10:15. So basically this is the introductory part, right? I know that when I describe the context you need to put for the hook, background, and thesis, a little bit blurred for you. So let me give you some of the examples of the hook that you may be feel interesting. For example, the first one I'll give you, okay. So this is some of the hook written by one of your previous senior student. And it discussed how to preserve democracy. And this is famous. Morozov is a Belarus-born American writer and researcher. Once said this is something. So this is about democracy. This give you some idea about, hey, we want to establish and preserve democracy. Then what about this? Is a vibrant society, civil society can challenge those, then blah blah blah, and change those in power. So this is the so-called democracy. And let me try to find out the other way to lay out. How about this one? This is another way to give you an idea about boarding school. So the benefit of attending boarding school in high school students. So have you ever known that there is a special system of a school called the boarding school system? This system, okay, school system is spanned for the first time in America and popular in Western society. So basically, give you an idea. You never heard about boarding school, have you? How about how do you think about democracy? Democracy must be people can have the ability to challenge those in power. Okay, and this is the hook. Then let's think about the background. You need to provide the background information to describe this democracy, this boarding school, right? So let's look at the boarding school description here. So basically, as a user boarding school as the. So basically, you can see according to this, blah, 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 in the journal, boarding school is this, because you want to know boarding school, right? So what about boarding school? And this is the explanation, background information for boarding school. So according to these authors in their journal, so boarding schools are an intensive form of education, blah, blah, and until here. Okay, as they said, these schools should offer some different kinds of learning for the students that help them improve themselves. So boarding school system has a lot of benefits for the student, especially so focus on the benefits, right? Especially high school students, because students in this age is the perfect time to attend the boarding school in order to prepare the future. So basically, this is the future. This is the background introduction to talk about boarding school. And then what about the thesis? So let me do the copy and paste the thesis here for you to get some idea. So once to talk about the benefits, right? So look here. In particular, this boarding school system can have three benefits for high school students. Because over here is good, and so high school students should go there. And here are the 3 benefits. Okay, so what are the 3 benefits? This is the thesis statement, the point, and this is the topic, and this is the point. Point number 1, providing them new experiences. Point number 2, helping them to adapt to a new environment. And number 3, making them to becoming more independent and ready to join the society in the future. So you can see there are 3 points, right? 1 and 2 and 3. And this talk about the benefits of high school students if they have the boarding system. So basically, this one is the thesis statement. Okay, thesis statement. So now, thesis statement. So if we look at this one, so in the next one we have to, what are the major points you want to explore, explain, illustrate, support in your thesis statement? Major point number 1 is the boarding school for high school students. Basically, it's about this one. So if we look at this boarding school, so boarding school system can, the 3 major points, and let me do this. So basically, the first one is providing them new experiences. This is number 1. And number 1 is helping them to adapt to a new environment. Number 2. And the next one is making them becoming more independent, ready to join in the future. Okay, so this is number 3. So you can see these are the 3 points you need to do. You need to elaborate. So far, are you with me? Just allow me to close the window. Hold on. Well, it suddenly rains, so I need to close the window. Okay, so basically you can see we have 3 major points. One is this. So this is providing them new experience, helping them to adapt to a new environment, and making them becoming more independent, ready, right? 3 points. So the only thing you need to put up here is in the body. What are the major points you want to explore, to argue, to support in your thesis? So we have 3 points here. And after you have this, you need to write a topic sentence for major point 1, a topic sentence for major point number 2, and number 3. Okay, so let me see the topic sentence. The first one is, so boarding school system helps the students to have experience in a new place without their family around them. So look here, this one corresponds to this one, providing them new experience. So this is the topic sentence, right? So basically the topic sentence is the leading sentence for your body paragraph, for your paragraph. So you have to use 1 full paragraph to develop your idea around this one. And how about the second major point? Second major point is that this is number 2. So students will learn to adapt when they come to a new environment. So here is the number 2, helping them to adapt to a new environment. Is that right? And number 3. Number 3 is So boarding school system helps students to become independent and ready to join the society in the future. It reflects this one. Okay, so this is this one, become independent. So basically, you see, we have a this should be here. So if you can see the logic, we have 3 points. We have the 3 points, right? And we have a 3 topic sentence. So over here, we can use the 3 topic sentence to develop 3 body paragraphs. Is that right? To develop 3 body paragraphs. Okay? And the last part is here. So what may be the conclusion for your term paper? Of course, the students who present her paper indeed have the conclusion. So when we say conclusion, what do we need to include? Basically, we have to try to highlight the major point you have argued, and then restate your thesis statement in some way, and then identify some contribution, some significance of your term paper. So these are the major conclusion for the major part for your term paper. So over here, this is her writing. So this is the last paragraph. So basically, this is kind of summarizing several benefits by offering some different activities, school, blah, 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 and get some benefits and the other do not. Okay, so then, and this is some kind of contribution or significance of your essay. So basically, the purpose of this assignment is to help you to sketch the outline of your term paper that you need to submit by the end of the semester. So basically you have to focus on the major part. The first one is to produce the outline for your introductory paragraph by including the hook, the background, and the thesis. Okay, and then you have to move down, because in the thesis statement, I asked you to identify 3 major points. Major point you want to in your thesis statement, right? So the student follow my instruction, providing the 3 different points. And the main issue she wants to talk about is this kind of benefits for high school in a boarding system. Okay, so we have 3, right? So these three, you can write these 3 into major point 1, major point 2, and major point 3. And then by the end, you develop the topic sentence for major point 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is the body paragraph. And this refers to the conclusion. And here we talk about what may be the conclusion of your term paper. You just think about that and write something up there, including 3 major parts. One is the restate. It is a summary of the points you have made so far. And then restate your thesis statement. And by the end of your conclusion paragraph, try to identify some contribution or some significance of your term paper. Okay, so this is a conclusion you need to write. You don't need to write so much now, of course. And references. References, I want you to use EndNote to compile the list in Word and then pass the output references here. So you need to have at least 5 references. Okay, so reference 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And can you have more? Yes, you can 6, 7, and this is optional 8. And once you finish this, you can submit your answers. Okay, so this is the description for the context of your lesson 13 assignment. And this one is due. This one is due by this Saturday night. So you have plenty of time to do this And I would like to have all the leaders of your EC groups to organize your team members and tell them how to make a better preparation for your term paper. When we say we want to study, we want to write a good essay, a good term paper. Basically, you need to have two different kind of knowledge. For writing a paper, you need to know how to write it well. That is the writing skills. You need to know the structure of the term paper. You need to how to develop your introductory paragraph by including hook, background information, and thesis statement. You need to how to develop your body paragraphs. And each of the body paragraphs should be used to answer or to argue to support one of your major points you described in your thesis statement. And also in the conclusion paragraph, you need to provide some summary of your discussion. And you have to restate what is about your thesis statement. And by the end of the conclusion, you need to provide something memorable to your readers, some significance, some contribution, and so on. And of course, when you write out your paper, you need to use EndNote to provide your citation, your footnote, and also your references. You need to use EndNote to produce those bibliographic information. So basically, this refers to the techniques you need to know. Refers to the techniques you need to know. So this is one set of knowledge you need to have. But how about the others? The other set of knowledge is your subject knowledge. So what about subject knowledge? So the subject knowledge refers to if you want to, for example, if you want to write an essay about the relationship between China and Taiwan, so you need to have the subject knowledge on this. You need to read a lot by yourself and to go through the different scholars' articles, try to compare their arguments, try to synthesize their observations. Eventually, you can come out of something really belong to yourself. So basically, other than the writing skills that you will learn from this class, the other set of knowledge we call subject knowledge. So you have to read a lot by yourself. It's not about copy and paste. You need to read, or otherwise there will be nothing for you to write at all. So you have to read. But the problem here, where can you identify the articles that is worthwhile for your time to read? We have talked about this so many times. That is, you can go to Windsor's library. So a lot, LIB, WZU, EDU, TW. So you just go there and you can search for the articles that you have, and this is digital file. Of course, if you prefer using English version, this is English. So find, and this is database. So database A to Z, right? You just go there. So basically, there are two general category. This is for Chinese. These are all Chinese. And you can go to foreign. So foreign, these are the foreign sources. So among them, which are the data bank you can go to? Well, basically, you can, if you have time and if you have a lot of interest in it, you can go through this and check it out one by one. But for now, I would advise you to go to some places. For example, first one here. You can go to EFCO-host, but now because of the budget issue, we did not continue the subscription for this one. But there are some others still very good. For example, this one, ProQuest. You go to ProQuest. If you connect, I believe that all of us now are using the connection from off the campus. So this is off the campus. So you need to click this red button and click it, and you will be asked your ID and password. So your student number and your password for this, and you just log in. So once you log in, you will be able to find many different articles, books that is available from the digital library from Wenzhou. So look here. Here is Wenzhou S9 University of Languages, right? So you can find anything. So how about ProQuest? ProQuest is basically all kind of dissertations and master theses written in English in the United States are stored here. So you can see so basically you can use this one to identify a lot of different paper out there. These are all theses, and some of them can provide you the full paper. So this is Eric ProQuest. If you want to retrieve dissertation or master thesis, go there. But how about the others? There are many others. This is Eric, and let's go to Gesto. Gesto is a not high quality, this one, number 45. So again, I click here because I have signed in already. So I can just directly go there. And to check out the file I would like to explore. Okay, so let's see this one. Let's say Taiwan politics. Okay, Taiwan politics as the keywords, and then I can just go there to see if I can have some article that I can read. See, again, access provided by Wenzhou S9 University of Languages, right? So you don't have to do anything, you just go there, and we have a lot of results with keywords for Taiwan politics. Okay, so you can go down to take a look about all of this to see whether it's available for download. That's for this one. Democratization and environmental politics in Taiwan. If this article you found interesting by reading this, and you may want to click it to check for more detail. So you check it. Okay, so once you get in here, you notice that these are the author, this is the name of the title, and there are a lot of choices for you. One, do you want to download this file? Yes. If you want to download, I will copy the name and download it. So accept and download, then this file will directly get into my okay, it will go here into my my PC. Okay, so now I have the file. I can save it, I can use it, and we can go back to the original source. So this is the, did you notice this one? Asian survey, and this is the reference information here. So can I use this information? As I say, we can use cite. And here is the cite. Cite here, I can use, let's say, did you see this one? Export to EndNote. We can export the RS file. This is for EndNote. So I click it. So once I click it, then I will have a download file over here. Let me see the download file where it is. It's gone because I did not open my EndNote. So there's nothing for me to show off. But later, now I'm opening my EndNote now. So let's see if there's any. I'll go to EndNote. So now I'm using EndNote. Go to EndNote here. Okay, so here is the EndNote, right? So now let's see if we can do anything for this one. So we just we can export and click it, and you see this file is here. This reference information has been directly imported into EndNote. Okay, so this is a preview for this reference information. So see, it's very convenient. It's very convenient for you, provided that you know how to maneuver around of the different parts. So basically, this is the article, and this is the reference information. You want to cite it, you just export to your EndNote. Of course, there are some revisions. You have to make sure that the entry of your reference are all correct. Okay, so other than this, do we have any other sources that can use? Gesto is one, of course. But how about others? Well, the others, you can go to Oxford. This one. This one, Oxford Scholarship Online. This is for book. And Oxford General Data Archive. This is for journal articles. These two are good. And there are some others. For example, PQDT is one you can use, and Sage is another one. Sage General you can use. So basically, there are many different sources out there for you to go through, and you will gradually appreciate the use of the abundance provision of the articles that are available from these different sources. And remember, Windsor paid a lot of money for this every year to keep this profound digital archive library for us to use. So you just use it, okay? Of course, this is Japanese. If you want to read some Japanese, it's up to you. Okay, so far, do you have any question? Yeah, I know. There's one thing. Sometimes it is very difficult to catch up the progress of the writing class, and because each week you need to provide the new fresh input for your assignment, and treat it as a challenge for yourself. Okay, and a lot of students before you had been successfully accomplished their test and produced something that's profound, sophisticated enough to show that they are capable of writing this kind of term paper. And so can you. You can do that. You can do that.